Hi, it's Laura at Hyperstamper. I'm really excited to show you today's antique junk journal from an 1890s book. It's 1891 and it's this beautiful pansy series that I absolutely love. And as you know, it is filled with nothing but antique and vintage ephemera like this 1930s card, some photographs. We've got postcards from the early 1900s, vintage items. Like every page almost has an insert or a plate, or it's just wonderful. And I think you're going to love what I have inside here. So let's go through it really fast so you can see before I put it in my Etsy shop. So this one's called Bessie on Her Travels, and I love that it still has its original library tag on it here, F215. And when you look inside, there's the F215, and you can see that that was done with a quilled pen and inkwell. Beautiful. And so that's the original first page of the book, and there is the first plate of the book and the publisher's page here entitled page 1891 down there, and it's so beautiful. So here's a beautiful vintage postcard from the 1940, and that is Miami City. And then we have this beautiful plate here from Beatrix Potter from 1932, and a 1904 Gardens of England book page, another vintage children's book page with antique paper on it, and a 1950 children's match 'em up book, butterfly fish and all kinds of wonderful little creatures there from the sea. Just got some great ephemera here. The Secrets of a Beautiful Life, title of an antique book page, and then a 1950s My Book House series page. And look at this great pocket here. This is a beautiful, beautiful plate from 1937. It's the Open Book of the Heavens. So that is the beautiful constellations of the stars in February and March. And then this is just the vintage page here that is just really fun that you can play with. And then another one here, which is a vintage magazine page, and that one is from 1961. So 62 years old, 63 years old, and yeah, just beautiful. Oh, I love it. And then we have some vintage sewing instructions here. And look at this plate. This is a stunning little plate. You can Google that. It's quite beautiful, and you can either journal on it, use it, frame it, all kinds of fun things. We've got some vintage applique down here. And this is from a vintage Birds of America book. And I love this one. I have a few of those birds in my own backyard, so that made me pretty happy. Beautiful 1800s pocket page here. Fun cluster down the side. And here's that card I was telling you about. The spine I put on this vintage atlas page, and the spine is from the Dr. Dolittle. Isn't that great? And here is a really interesting Mother's Day card. It's to mother and father on Mother's Day. Now, I've never seen this before, and I don't know. It's kind of weird that you would thank the father for Mother's Day, but this is a card that was from 1930. So how cool is that? It's really beautiful with the poppy on the front and this little house down at the bottom. It's really quite a luscious card. A hand-typed research paper. This is an early 1900s pocket folded over here. And Child's Garden of Verses, a famous book. And that one is from 1920. And here is a banknote that I believe, oh, this is a German one. That's very cool. And that's actually, even though it looks brand new, it's over 100 years old, which I love. This is a vintage card here from, it's a collector's card, and that is an osprey. Ospreys, I believe, have the largest wingspan. And this is just a great piece of an envelope from the 1930s with these beautiful stamps here from, I believe, Switzerland to a watch company. So they were probably sending parts to build watches. And then this is from the 1890s as well, sorry, a musician, and lots of space on the back for journaling. And that's all on top of a music sheet. So we've got the musician and the music sheet. This is a tag I made out of an antique book cover. And I just added some really cool ephemera to that and made the pocket out of a children's book page. More of that vintage atlas. Children's book pages here, and a 1940s theater arts magazine page here. Monopoly, vintage Monopoly money to journal in the back of, and all this space as well. And I just really love this illustration. I didn't want to cut him off, so I folded him over. A vintage unused recipe card and an Alice in Wonderland through the Looking Glass page here from the 20s. And this is a beautiful plate from 1902. Isn't that spectacular? Oh, I love it. And I love this 1950s embroidery, knitting, crochet knitting, and tatting. Beautiful. I just love the image, so I made that into a pocket as well. There we've got Tweedledee and Tweedledum. This is actually a famous image, and this one is again 1920. And we got the Squirrel and the Bunny down here, another Monopoly piece here that's vintage, probably about 70 years old, and a vintage playing card. You can upcycle those. Google it. It's fun to upcycle them. And then a vintage ledger sheet and a vintage recipe book page from 1950s, and this is all muffin recipes. And again, I always encourage you to try antique recipes. The ingredients are the same, and you might be really surprised how delicious they are. I've actually tried a few. And look at this great old photo, and that is from 1920s. Isn't that great? Building a house, a brand new house, which now is not a brand new house, it's a 100-year-old house. And an early 1900s page on elephants. And I've put a pocket here and left that blank because I want whoever owns this journal, when they purchase it, to let me know what they'd like me to put in there. Just give me some ideas of things you love, and I'll do my best to go through my collection for you. Here is a page from this book, blank for journaling, and another antique journaling page there from an antique book. And an old stamp from the Netherlands. Another plate here, double-sided plate. And a journaling spot here as well from a children's book. Look how sweet that is. A Funny Dream, piece on the back, antique paper. And what I love is this antique page here that actually says notes. I couldn't have done better myself. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. Come back soon and don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.